Welcome to my channel. I never believed in magic. Not witches. Not spells. Not curses. At least, not until the night everything in my life shattered. It happened in a blink, so fast that even now, when I replay it in my head, it feels like a nightmare stitched together from pieces of fear, shock, and impossible reality. I remember the smell first, burning lavender mixed with something metallic. Then the sound, like two voices whispering at the same time. And then, the sharp, cold pressure around my throat. The witch's fingers. "Your sister's sorrow calls for balance," she hissed, her breath icy against my skin. "You ignored what she carried. So you will carry her life instead." Before I could scream, she slammed her palm against my chest. Light exploded. Violent, blinding, roaring like a storm tearing the world apart. And then, silence. A cold floor under my palms. My own heartbeat pounding like it wanted to escape my chest. When I opened my eyes, I wasn't in my room anymore. I wasn't anywhere familiar. I was staring into a mirror. A mirror reflecting my sister's face. Not like a subtle resemblance. Not like a sibling similarity. It was her. Her eyes. Her lips. Her hair spilling over my shoulders. Her petite frame wrapped in her oversized pink sweater. My breath hitched, but the voice that came out wasn't mine. "Oh my God," I whispered. "This can't be happening. No, 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 no." Panic surged. My hands flew to my face, my hair, my chest. Everything was wrong. Impossible. Soft where it shouldn't be. Curved where it never had been. My legs trembled, and even the way my thighs touched felt alien. What did she do to me? I gasped. The witch's voice echoed in the back of my mind like a curse carved into bone. "You will live the life she suffered." My blood ran cold. My sister's life? Her pain? Her secrets? And just when I thought I had reached the limit of terror, the bedroom door creaked open. "Sis." A familiar voice called gently. It was her boyfriend. And he thought I was her. My heart stopped completely. The spell wasn't just a punishment. It was a trap. And I was already sinking into it. The first morning was the hardest. I woke up tangled in her soft, pastel sheets, the light filtering through her curtains catching strands of hair that weren't mine. My body felt like a cage I didn't belong in. Slender arms, delicate fingers, soft curves I had never owned. Every movement reminded me that I was no longer myself. I tried speaking, whispering my own name to hear it come out, but all that escaped was my sister's voice. Soft. Musical. Feminine. My stomach sank. Breakfast was worse. I had to navigate her kitchen, avoiding her boyfriend, who was blissfully unaware that I was an imposter. Every glance from him, every smile, was like a knife twisting in my chest. He reached out to touch my hand, thinking it was hers, and I recoiled instinctively. My heart raced. "Are you okay?" he asked, his voice gentle. I forced a nod, my lips trembling as I mimicked my sister's usual laugh. The sound made me cringe. The more I acted like her, the more I felt my own identity slipping away. Outside, the world didn't forgive me. Every reflection in shop windows reminded me that I was trapped. People whispered, stared, smiled at me in ways I didn't recognize. My friends, when they called, reacted as if I was her. Questions I couldn't answer tumbled from their mouths. Each lie, each avoidance, carved a hollow pit of fear in my chest. At school and work, I had to navigate her life. Her classes, her friends, her habits. Every interaction was a performance. Even simple things like walking, eating, or using her phone felt like minefields. One wrong move, one slip of the tongue, and I'd be found out. Then there was the witch's subtle interference. She had left traces of magic, little twists that made normal tasks nearly impossible. My handwriting shifted to mirror hers. My reflection in every surface seemed slightly off, as if judging me. Even my own thoughts sometimes betrayed me, echoing in her words her memories. I hated her. I hated the witch. I hated my sister for unknowingly being the conduit of my nightmare. And yet, I was learning her life. Every day. Every routine. Every secret. And with it, a strange, frightening empathy began to take root. I began to understand her struggles, her fears, the parts of her I had overlooked. Evenings became my refuge, the only time I could explore this borrowed life in private. Mirrors, clothes, and her little trinkets became my only connection to myself. I experimented silently, trying on her skirts, brushing her hair, feeling her body move in ways that were foreign yet intoxicating. Every small discovery was thrilling and terrifying at once. I was learning to move like her, speak like her, even breathe like her. But with each passing day, I felt the walls of my old identity crumble. My own thoughts began to mix with hers, my voice softened by habit, my posture shaped by her body. Then came the first real challenge. My sister's best friend, oblivious to the magic, cornered me in the hallway. "You've changed," she said, eyes narrowing. "You seem different somehow." My heart pounded. Every word was a trap. I had to respond, to smile, to act natural. "Just tired," I whispered, mimicking my sister's phrasing exactly. She tilted her head, suspicious, but nodded. I exhaled silently when she walked away. One wrong step, one small slip, and the entire world could collapse on me. By the end of the week, exhaustion settled over me like a heavy blanket. My body was hers, my life was hers, and every secret I held was trapped behind her memories. And yet, a dangerous curiosity began to creep in. What if I embraced this? What if I learned not just to survive, but to thrive in her life? The thought terrified me. And strangely, it excited me. Night fell, and the apartment was silent, save for the soft hum of magic that seemed to linger in the corners, a constant reminder of the witch's curse. For the first time since the transformation, I had the apartment to myself. Emily's old life, my sister's old life really, felt like a cage I could slowly explore without witnesses. I closed the door behind me and approached her mirror. The reflection that stared back was no longer just terrifying. It was alive. My sister's eyes, her lips, her hair cascading perfectly around her shoulders. And yet, beneath it all, I caught glimpses of myself in the expression, the tension in my jaw, the small tremor in my hands. Tentatively, I reached for her makeup kit. I had never touched makeup like this before. Brushes, powders, lipsticks, mascaras. They were tools of transformation I had only observed, never wielded. My hands shook as I applied blush to my cheeks, watching my face soften, curves highlighted, a new persona emerging in the glass. Next came the hair. I ran a brush through the silky strands, feeling the weight and texture. Each movement was hypnotic. The curls, the shine, the scent of her shampoo, all alien, yet oddly comforting. I began experimenting with styles, braiding, curling, letting sections fall naturally. Each look I tried seemed to teach me something about her, about me, about the strange identity I was inhabiting. Then, the clothes. Her skirts, blouses, delicate sweaters. They felt foreign yet thrilling against my skin. I twirled in front of the mirror, heels clicking softly, fabric swaying. I was learning her movements, her posture, the way she carried herself. Every discovery sparked a mix of fear, guilt, and, dangerously, pleasure. The witch's magic wasn't subtle. Sometimes I felt her presence, whispering thoughts into my mind, learn her. Become her. Own it. The whispers made me flinch at first. But slowly, I began to respond, experimenting with gestures, voice inflections, even her expressions. Each mimicry brought a flicker of power I hadn't anticipated. I laughed quietly at myself. Alone, I could explore. Alone, I could experiment. Alone, I could start to reclaim some sense of control. My voice was next. I spoke softly, experimenting with pitch, tone, and inflection. The sound was feminine, musical, yet undeniably mine. I practiced phrases I knew she often said, her laughter, her sighs, her expressions of frustration. Each attempt made me shiver, not with fear, but with a strange, exhilarating connection to this borrowed life. And then I discovered small victories in movement. Walking in her heels without faltering. Sitting in her favorite chair, adjusting my skirt naturally. Holding myself with poise that felt alien yet seductive. The mirror reflected a new me, a hybrid of my essence and hers, shaped by magic, by punishment, by curiosity. By the end of the night, exhaustion mixed with exhilaration. My body still wasn't mine. My life wasn't mine. But I had learned to inhabit it, to manipulate it, to play the role convincingly. A soft laugh escaped me. Not my sister's laugh. Not entirely. Mine. Mine finally asserting itself in this alien body. And somewhere deep inside, I realized a dangerous truth. I was beginning to like it. The fear hadn't gone away. The guilt hadn't gone away. But the thrill, the magic of stepping into someone else's life and controlling it, even just a little, was intoxicating. For the first time, I whispered to the empty room, maybe I can survive this. Maybe I can thrive. And I wasn't lying. The morning sun pierced through the curtains, brushing the room in warm light. I stared at the mirror, heart pounding, heels clicking softly on the wooden floor. Today, I was venturing out, not just to survive, but to face the world in my sister's body. Alone. Every step outside felt like walking a tightrope suspended over fire. The street was alive with people who didn't know the truth. Each glance, each whisper, each casual smile threatened exposure. My hands shook slightly, but I straightened my back, lifted my chin, and whispered to myself, I can do this. I have to. The first challenge was her friends. Meeting them at the cafe felt like walking into a lion's den. I recognized every expression, every gesture from my sister's life, but now I had to mimic them perfectly. Each "hey girl" felt like a test. Each comment about school, homework, or gossip was a minefield. I faltered at first, almost slipping into my own habits. But then I remembered the nights alone in my sister's room, the mirror, the makeup, the practice. I adjusted my posture, smiled the way she did, spoke with her inflection. Slowly, cautiously, I found my rhythm. Their eyes widened at my poise, my confidence. A few compliments slipped through. You look amazing today. Each one pierced me with equal parts fear and exhilaration. I had to remind myself, this wasn't me. And yet, it was. The next hurdle was my sister's boyfriend. He approached with a smile, casual yet intimate. My heart thundered. Every instinct screamed for me to flee, to confess, to undo the spell in any way possible. But I couldn't. Not yet. I had to survive the night. Hey, you okay? He asked, his gaze searching, gentle. I nodded, forcing a smile. My voice was soft but confident, borrowed yet believable. Yeah, just busy with school. He tilted his head slightly, suspicious. But I maintained eye contact, mimicking my sister's usual gestures, her small quirks, her laughter. Slowly, he relaxed. I exhaled silently. By the afternoon, I found myself walking alone in a park. The sunlight danced on my hair, my skirt swaying naturally as I moved. People stared, but no one recognized the truth. I realized then something terrifying and thrilling. I was learning to own her body, her life, her world. And with each step, each careful movement, I felt a surge of confidence I hadn't known in my own life. But the real test came when my sister herself appeared. Somehow, she had discovered the spell, or maybe the witch had intended for this moment. Her eyes widened in shock, then narrowed in fear, confusion, and anger. Wait, what happened to me? Who are you? She stammered, pointing at me. The witch's magic pulsed in the air around us, as if waiting for my reaction. Panic surged. My mind raced. I could run, hide, or fight the spell, but I realized something crucial: hiding wouldn't work. Survival demanded ownership. I'm living your life, I whispered, my voice steady, firm. But not to hurt you. To understand. To survive. She took a step back, trembling. This can't be real. I nodded, swallowing fear. I didn't ask for it. But I can. I can handle it. I have to. And maybe I can even make it work. The witch's presence flared, then vanished. The curse didn't break, but I realized the spell's true lesson: it wasn't just punishment. It was a mirror. It forced me to confront myself, my courage, my adaptability, my hidden strengths. By the evening, I had walked through the town, faced my sister's friends, even her teachers, with a poise that stunned me. Every fearful step had transformed into measured confidence. Every glance that once felt like judgment now felt like acknowledgement. When I returned home, my reflection in her bedroom mirror no longer terrified me. The eyes staring back were soft, alive, confident. The body that once felt alien now moved naturally. The voice, the gestures, the curves, they weren't just borrowed, they were a part of me now. And somewhere deep in my chest, I felt gratitude. Not for the witch, not for the spell, but for the journey, the forced immersion, the humiliation, the fear. They had taught me something I hadn't known. I am stronger than I believed. I can adapt. I can survive. I can even thrive. I whispered softly to myself, a smile spreading across my lips. I am trapped. Yes. But I am powerful. I am me. For the first time, I wasn't running from the magic. I was dancing with it. I was owning it. And in that ownership, I found freedom.